Today we're going to talk about new construction homes and what you need to know before buying a new construction home. A lot of folks are excited about a new construction home. They think new construction, I'm going to be the first one to live in it. There's going to be no issues. Nothing's going to break. It's all going to be nice and easy, and I won't have to deal with any headaches for a while once I purchase a new construction home. And in most cases, in my experience, I found that to be true, but there are some things that you should know prior to buying a new construction home. I'm going to tell you about them in this video. First thing is, when you're considering buying a new construction home, make sure to vet or do some research on the builder. There are a lot of builders out there, some big regional, some big national builders and some regional builders. The national and regional builders have more of a reputation. They have a track record. They sold many thousands of homes, and it's often easy to find information, reviews about these builders online. However, I've seen more and more come up, builders that I've never heard of, builders that are up and coming, and their track record may not be as established. It's really important that you look at reviews. You go and talk to that builder. You see the quality of the home that they've built. A lot of these newer builders may not have all of their ducks in a row, may cut corners, and you don't want to be the guinea pig, if you will, in buying these homes from builders that you may have never heard of. So do your research, check them out, look them up online, see what other folks are saying about these homes, especially if they purchased a home and lived in them for a few years. You can find a lot of information out online about builders that may be new. Not to say that you shouldn't consider these builders. There's lots of custom home builders, smaller builders out there that are that make beautiful homes, that make great homes. The point I'm trying to make is it's important to do your research for these builders that are smaller and that you may not have heard of, to make sure that you're spending your money and your time with a builder that knows what they're doing. The next thing is to get an independent home inspection. Most of these builders will not require you to have an independent home inspection. They'll often have their contractors, their site operations lead or managers inspect the home for you. And I strongly recommend getting a third-party independent opinion about the home at different stages of the home. So at the framing stage, inspection. The drywall stage, inspection. When the electrical and the plumbing is installed before the drywall goes up, inspection. And of course, just before you move into the home, an inspection. It's always good to keep in mind that the builder, the on-site agent, and all of the personnel associated with the builder have the builder's best interest in mind. And it's important for you to protect your own interest and get an opinion that may be outside of the builder, so you have as much information as you can to make the best decision for you. In my experience, what I've heard is folks who have gone with the builder's resources, whether that be a lender or their inspector, and oftentimes things are missed, or they may not have brought up things that you would want to know. You want to know if something is not done properly. You want to know if something's new, they're trying a new technique, a new material, different codes and different things that may used to be in code, but now they're not in code. All of these things, you want to have as many opinions, or at least more than one opinion, an independent opinion about these systems and processes. Again, so you can make the best decision for you. So this next piece of information is I highly recommend getting a third-party opinion and a third-party inspection. More importantly, at different stages of the building process. Pre-drywall, at the framing stage, once they put in all of your cabinetry, and of course, before you close on the home at the final stages. Hey, you may be looking and in need of a real estate agent. And if you're looking for one, I can help. I got your back. I have a list of pre-vetted, fantastic agents that I'd be happy to connect you with all across the country. I've done the work for you. I know they're great. They have a track record. And if you're looking to buy, sell, invest, I'm happy to connect you with one of these great agents. Make sure to fill out the form below, and myself or someone from my team will be in touch to make that connection. Next, often builders advertise incentives for utilizing their preferred lender. Now, I have mixed opinions about this. The incentives are often very enticing. Buy down credits, closing cost credits, different things to save you money as the buyer, right? So it seems. Although these things may be true, oftentimes, again, using resources provided by the builder are often, you have to keep in mind, these resources are often for the builder's best interest. They're in the builder's best interest. So in order to protect yourself, you always want to get, or I highly recommend getting, another opinion. So oftentimes you'll see the biggest incentives for utilizing the lender's or the builder's preferred lender. And I'm not saying you shouldn't use the builder's lender, but again, these lenders have the builder's best interest in mind. Now, I think one of the biggest things that I've come across that is truly frustrating and often has caught buyers off guard and is quite a shock is when they purchase a home and they work with a lender, the preferred lender of the builder, they're often enticing buyers with a low down payment. They look at all their numbers and they say like, hey, we can get you in this home at this monthly cost. And then 6 months down they close, and then 6 months down the road, a year down the road, they get a new assessment and their taxes shoot up, and thus their monthly bill shoots up, often by several hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. And this is a huge shock. They expect to pay one price, and now they're paying much more in a very short period of time. And one thing to keep in mind is that the home's assessed tax value, or the land, has a tax value that doesn't have any property or structure on it at the beginning of the construction process. There's no home on that land. So the tax value is often much, much less. However, once homes start to be built and sold on that land, the taxes are going to go up. The properties are going to be reassessed, and your taxes are going to go way up. And this is something that often catches folks off guard, or they don't know. So what I'd highly recommend is if you do decide to work with the lender, any lender, whether it's that of the builder or an independent lender, always ask what the future tax value is going to be for this property. Show you the numbers. Ask to be shown the numbers of what the taxes are going to be in the future once the home is constructed, not what they currently are when there's no structure being built, when there's no structure on the property just yet. It's just land. Oftentimes, I have seen preferred lenders that work for the builder not share this information, or this catches folks off guard, and they're shocked down the road when their taxes go up or their escrow payment is short, and they're stuck with a monthly bill that they did not plan for and did not inspect. So, not to say that you shouldn't use these preferred lenders or take advantage of these incentives, but make sure you know what questions to ask. And I highly consider using another lender outside of the preferred lender if it works best for your finances. But keep that in mind. Ask that question, because you don't want any shocks down the road, which is truly quite sad and very frustrating when buyers are getting these surprise costs later down the road. Next thing you want to consider when purchasing a new construction home is the warranties that are offered. Most new construction or builders offer what's called a 210 warranty. It's very common. But you want to make sure that you have some sort of warranty in place to cover any sort of mistakes, any errors that come up after you've moved into the home. So normally a 210 warranty, in the first year, it'll cover any sort of workmanship issues. In the second year, up to 2 years, the builder will normally cover any issues with major systems, plumbing, electrical, etc. And then they'll cover any structural issues up to 10 years. This is often the case with a standard 210 warranty. But you want to make sure that some sort of warranty is offered to cover the builder's work. You don't want to move into a home and something breaks and you don't have any means to fix it, rectify, or know who to call. So the most common is a 210 warranty, at least here in Georgia. But I imagine most builders across the country have something similar. But you want to make sure you have some sort of warranty, or that builder is offering you some sort of warranty to cover your bases. And last but not least is HOAs. Now, love them or hate them, most new construction homes have some sort of HOA, and it is governed by rules and regulations that are just important to know before you move into these homes. Most folks I've talked to have ideas of what they want to do, only to come and find out that they can't do it, or there's so many hoops to jump through once they purchase their new home that they weren't expecting. So in most cases, new construction homes have some sort of HOA. Make sure you understand what's in that HOA, how much it's going to cost you per year, what you can and can't do, what the process is like to get things approved. In addition, whether that HOA is being run by a third-party management company, how long it's going to be ran by that management company, and at what point it may transition to the actual residents to manage that company, if that is an option. As some HOA companies or HOAs will eventually transfer ownership or governance of that HOA to the residents at some point in time. So what you want to do is make sure that you understand what you're getting into with your HOA. Make sure you know where the money's going. Make sure you see and understand who oversees that HOA and what you can and can't do. I can't tell you how many folks have purchased a home with an HOA and they don't realize that they can't do what they want to do, or it's a lot of hoops to jump through to do what they want to do. Now, this is not a pros and cons video for HOAs. Everybody has a different opinion about the pros and cons of an HOA. What I want you to consider in purchasing a new construction home is just to understand the ins and outs of the HOA for the community that you are considering. Often folks don't. They miss important things that are important for them. And no one wants to be either told what to do, what they can't do in their own home, or not understand the process they have to go through once they purchase a home to get something done that's important to them. So make sure that you understand the rules and regulations and the covenants, the costs, and who's overseeing and running your HOA when buying a new construction home.